Welcome to another episode of Eatin with Joe. Today we are headed to Michigan for our very first one-on-one showdown. All right, so with that, on with the episode. So as I said at the beginning, we are here visiting Michigan for our very first one-on-one showdown. Also, this is another viewer submission. That's right, it's our third viewer submission in a row. We couldn't be happier. Thanks to everybody out there for all the comments. If you have a state you want us to talk about or a food you want us to try, put that in the comments. We'll do as many viewer submissions as we can. So thanks a lot for all your input. But this week, it's all about Michigan. Michigan, the birthplace of Motown, cornflakes, and Gerald Ford. It's home to the Wolverines and Spartans. It's the center of the U.S. auto industry and the only state to border 4 Great Lakes. You can count them. Also, Michigan is the only state with 2 peninsulas. Everybody knows about the Upper Peninsula or the UP, but did you know that the lower part of the state, the main part of the state, is known as the Lower Peninsula? So how did Michigan end up with this? Turns out in the late 1700s, when Michigan was still a territory, Michigan and Ohio had a huge land battle over this. This is known as the Toledo Strip. Long story short, the U.S. Congress got involved and ended up giving it to Ohio, but they awarded Michigan the area now known as the UP. At least all those people up in the UP didn't have to worry about being part of Wisconsin anymore, so good for them. Also, Michigan and Ohio still don't like each other. Get over it. It's been 200 years already. Now, before we get into this week's food, we always like to talk about other foods that we could have featured. Some of these are a little more well known than the others, but you'll easily realize why we didn't choose to feature them this week. The obvious one, Kellogg's cornflakes. Kellogg's is the center of the U.S. cereal industry, but you can't do much with cereal, so off we go. Other foods that are not as obvious, how about Little Caesars? How about Mackinac Island fudge? And that's really about it. As you can see, Michigan is kind of a desert when it comes to iconic foods, but there are 2 foods that rise above the rest, and that's why we're having a one-on-one food challenge. It's Throwdown Michigan style.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening.
The first one is the pasty. This is really popular up in the UP. It started off a while back. This is a very popular food for people to take into the mines every day. It's very portable, it's delicious, it's comfort food, gets you through the day. It's full of things like ground beef, ground pork, all sorts of vegetables, and typically homemade dough. Also, very portable. You hold it in your hand, take it with you, you're good to go. The second food, cherry pie. The western edge of Michigan is really known for its fruit production, most specifically cherries. Michigan harvests over 90,000 tons of cherries every year. So, how best to feature cherries? cherry pie.
Sweet cherry pie.
So we have a pasty, we have a cherry pie. How do we decide which one is worthy to represent Michigan? It's pie versus pie. There can be only one. In this corner, representing the UP, the pasty, otherwise known as the meat pie. Its pros feature high convenience factor. It's portable. It also contains meat, always a plus. Its cons, it contains rutabagas. And in this corner, representing the Lower Peninsula, the cherry pie. Its pros, it's one of the founding members of the dessert family. Also, it goes better with whipped cream than the pasty. Its cons? Well, frankly, it's not as good as apple pie, let's be honest. Now, both of these are really easy to make. Cut up the stuff, you roll out the dough, you put in the stuff, you bake it, you eat it. Pretty simple. So, you can't have a one-on-one challenge without digging in. Here we go. Life is short, dessert first. To be honest, I'm not the biggest cherry pie fan, but this is so much better on the second day. Not bad. It does really need some whipped cream though. But like the announcer said, it's not as good as apple pie. It might be a founding member of the dessert category. It's good, not great. I'm going to give the cherry pie a 6 out of 10. Now you may be thinking, is that a store-bought pie? Does it count? This is not a store-bought pie, and it definitely counts. Here's the proof. That's me, folks. That is not stock footage. All right, cherry pie, 6 out of 10. Time to move on to the meat pie. You got to put a little mustard on it. And off we go. Now I made these yesterday. Again, here's the proof. And we'll see how these hold up. Cherry pie held up pretty well. Day number 2. Nice thing is you can eat them hot or cold. Take them with you. Portable. You know what? Pretty good. I made this one with beef, potatoes, rutabagas, onions, and some spices. Simple. The nice thing about the pasty, it's also adaptable. You can put anything you want in this. Beef and vegetables not bad. I think next go around, maybe a little sauerkraut and sausage. Nice German pasty. You can't do that with a cherry pie. A cherry pie is what it is, and you're kind of stuck. Also, pasties are not only portable, you can make them any size you want too. Well, I'll be honest, I've had enough. There's no need to go any farther. Pasty, 8 out of 10. It's portable, it's adaptable. There's really no limit what you can do with this thing. Well, that wasn't even close, folks. Close the door. Close the door, I'm rolling. All right, well, that wasn't even close. The score was 8-6, and frankly, it wasn't even that close. The pasty goes on to represent the great state of Michigan in the 50-team Great State Tournament once we get through all the states at the end of this season. There's going to be more information coming on that tournament in subsequent videos, so keep watch. The grand champion of the 50-team tournament is going to be determined by your votes. So stay tuned, watch closely, soak this all in, watch every episode, tell your friends. We're calling it Mukbang Madness. We're going to have some fun with it. So that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. Until next week, thanks again for watching, and be good to each other.